Welcome to Retro Quest, my retro video gaming podcast where I force my son to play old-ass video games. I'm your host, D.
And I am your co-host, Sako.
Sako the Taco. So how you doing?
I am doing pretty decent, actually.
All right, we got Friday. No, not Friday.
We
13th.
did that last.
That's last week. We got Nightmare on Elm Street. I will repeatedly confuse the two.
Don't blame you.
But first, a little bit of housekeeping. I don't know what people mean when they say that on podcasts, but they always say that and then talk about stuff. So, Sako, what'd you do this week?
What did I do this week? Okay, well, I'm glad you asked. So, this week was crazy for me. I was elected into homecoming court at my school, so I was doing stuff all week. I was, most nights I wasn't home, especially towards the end of the week, and then on Saturday I was also gone. But this weekend, I picked up quite a game, alright? It was an open beta for Call of Duty Modern Warfare
my God.
3, and it is amazing. The open beta closed today, but I got some in this morning before they closed the open beta. So, but it was really good. I think I might buy it.
His girlfriend likes Call of Duty.
I liked Call of Duty before I knew she liked Call of Duty, I promise.
Okay, so that's what you've been doing in gaming this week is Call of Duty.
Yeah, pretty much. That's the only game I've really played.
Yeah, I've basically been playing the game we're going to talk about today. And I'm playing a little bit of that Super Mario Wonder. And if you're wondering why I'm playing it, keep wondering because I'm not going to tell you.
I was asking the same question, don't worry.
Nintendo sent me a copy.
That's what we'll go with.
That's what we're going to go with. Nintendo sent me a review code.
Exactly.
Yep.
They were such a big fan of our podcast.
They were like, you know what? You like retro video games and you have a hacked Switch. I mean, you have a Switch. So, enough about that. So, yeah, I played this game, beat it. Played a little bit of... Actually, I've been playing a little bit of Fire Emblem Three Houses. It's a turn-based RPG. Not turn-based, like turn-based strategy game.
Is it retro?
It is not retro. It is for the Nintendo Switch. And I like the combat, but there's a whole lot of, like...
housekeeping?
Relationship stuff you have to do.
It's
like,
that game?
Yeah.
I've heard so much about that game. It's you either love it or you hate it.
I like the gameplay, but not the running around and... It's like a calendar. You gotta buy people fucking flowers on their birthday. It's fucking stupid. I want a game that's exactly that game, but without all the stuff in between the like battles. Basically, I want Shining Force.
Yeah, I was about to say that sounds like Shining Force.
Or like even Final Fantasy Tactics has story, but it's not like you have to like participate in like fun activities with people. I hate participating in fun activities.
I'm sure you do. I can't wait for the day we get to Shining Force. That's
but
a game we're both gonna like be on the same page.
I want to play Shining Force 1 and Shining Force 2, and there is the Game Gear games, which actually take place in between Shining Force 1 and 2, I believe.
Oh,
or at least one of them does. I know. I was
you play them
listening
in order. Like,
yeah,
like canonical order or game order.
I don't know, just game order, I guess.
All right.
I doubt we're gonna have like Shining Force month where we just like fucking play all the Shining Force games each week.
I would totally be down for that.
You know, I would kind of be down for that too. Now that I'm saying it in mockery, I'm like, you know what?
Shining Force September. Next time September rolls around.
Shining Force February.
Shining Force February. That also sounds good too.
That also sounds good. How about Shining Force fucking November? No. We got other things to do.
Yeah, we got
other things to contemplate as far as retro gaming goes. But all right. So Nightmare on Elm Street.
Nightmare on Elm Street.
Fucking.
What is this game?
This was a game that I played. This was a game that exists.
Yeah, this is definitely one of the games that I have.
This game
played.
Technically can be labeled a game.
It can, by definition.
By definition, it's a game. So first, we'll read a little bit about it in the wiki. All right, so here's the plot. Here's what the manual says about the game.
Gosh, the
So-
is crazy.
Something frightening has been happening on Elm Street today, or lately. It seems that each waking day, another gruesome discovery is made. Another neighborhood teen has mysteriously passed away into the dark stillness of the night. Everyone says it's natural causes, but it seems as if something or someone has been picking them off one by one in their sleep. It's a horrible nightmare come true, and this nightmare has a name. Freddy fucking Krueger. It's up to you and your remaining friends to search Elm Street for his bones, which have been scattered about, then collect and burn them in the high school furnace. If you can just stay awake long enough, you might be able to end Freddy's reign of terror for good. You had better hurry, though. It's getting late, and you can feel your eyelids getting heavier and heavier by the minute. By the minute. I said minute. I meant minute. Shut up, Sako.
I do want to point something out about that.
What's that?
So like, it says that the teens are disappearing, but then everyone is like, "Oh, it's natural causes." How do you disappear by natural cause?
Listen, I don't know if they've been disappearing or just been dying. Right? Did you read the manual? Right?
I did read the manual. I'm pretty sure it said disappearing.
It said disappearing. Yeah.
And I don't know how you disappear by natural causes.
Listen. I don't know. I don't have a witty remark for this, but you make a good point. Huh. So something about this game doesn't make sense.
Oh boy.
Fucking starts at the manual and just keeps
Starts in like the
going.
first paragraph of the manual and it never ends.
And then nothing ever really kind of makes 100. It makes kind of sense, but only a little bit of sense. So yeah, and the gameplay. Let's talk about the gameplay. So basically, it's up to 4 players.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's not simultaneous, right? It's like you take turns.
No, I
or
think
something?
it's simultaneous, like one screen, like what's
Oh.
it? Like Altered Beast or something, kind of.
Like a split screen type deal.
Not split screen, like all on the same like screen, like Altered Beast or something.
Maybe I could. I don't know.
You ever played Altered Beast?
Yeah, but I never played a multiplayer.
That's the only way I ever played it.
That's weird.
It's
Okay, so basically, you pick 1 to 4 players. I picked 1 player, obviously.
yeah.
And then you start off on Elm Street and you walk around and you got this fucking the dude reminds me of Little Mac from Punch Out because he's like small. It looks like he's got a beater on, and
Yeah.
then he like swings this fucking punch that has a wind up that pissed me off. We'll get to that. And then just knocks the shit out of like snails and snakes and bats. And so you do that. You go down Elm Street. You got to go into the houses that after I beat the game and I kept playing through it a little bit because I did kind of enjoy the game a little bit. Spoilers. At first I thought it was a random, the whole overworld was kind of random. But when you run back and forth on Elm Street, there is only a certain number of houses and there is an order it goes in.
Yeah.
And the order the enemies come on screen is actually pre-programmed as well.
I kind of felt that. I don't think I ever fully caught on to it while I was playing it, but I did kind of feel it. It was like, it felt like deja vu every
When
time.
I was in the overworld, I didn't really fight the enemies. I just used them. I treated them as obstacle courses of
yeah, like
jumping
you jumped over. That's like generally what I did.
And there was only a couple spots where I knew I had to like kill a bat before I jumped over the zombie guy, whatever the fuck it was. And so that was how I kind of learned the pattern. I was like, okay, jump here, punch the bat, jump here, as I was going back and forth.
So it just became muscle memory.
It became muscle memory going over the overworld. And so you got like your health is also your sleep bar, I believe. And
yeah, it was kind of unclear, like a little bit.
Yeah,
because sometimes you get hit and it wouldn't take from it, but then sometimes you wouldn't, it would.
Yeah, that's something that was bothering me too. The health and the sleep meter confused me for some reason. Like I couldn't wrap my head
same
around
thing.
it.
Like it is like, but like you don't always take damage, and you can die without without an empty sleep meter.
Yeah, and then sometimes it'll just be like boom. All of a sudden, it's like Freddy shows up.
Yeah,
which I didn't like it as much as Jason showing up.
No, it wasn't the same. Didn't feel the same.
It just didn't hit right.
Considering that these games were made by the same developer.
Well, actually, this one was made by. Hold on.
You said it was an LJ.
It was LJN, but like I told you in the last episode, LJN
they outsourced.
They never actually developed their own games. And if I am not mistaken, I believe this was developed by Rare. Give me 1 second.
I wouldn't be hard pressed to believe this was made by the same company though, because I mean it felt kind of similar, like not super, but like to some degree, like the looks of it and everything felt like it would have been made by the same people, but like I wouldn't be sure for sure because I wasn't paying that much like attention to the in-depth of it like I was with the Friday the 13th game, because the Friday the 13th game just interested me a little bit more.
Yeah, there was a lot of meat on the bones, as they say.
Yeah, but it was pretty good though. Like, there's a lot of aspects to this game that don't necessarily make sense.
Yep.
But
So yeah, it says here this game was actually developed by Rare. You know, the guys who made Donkey Kong Country.
yeah, Rare. I recognized that name from Donkey Kong
The
Country.
guys who made like really awesome Super Nintendo games.
I don't know how this is like.
Well, they also made some other games like RC Pro-Am on the NES. I think was their first game.
Sounds kind of familiar. Not really.
Yeah, it's probably something you've never played. So it was developed by Rare, and I can see
Was this before or after Donkey Kong?
way before. This is Nintendo. Donkey Kong
not
Country was
yeah,
Super
was
Nintendo. But you can see that little bit of the collect-a-thon nature of it that they would develop in their later games. Like the whole basis of the games is collecting the bones, and it is a pretty straightforward game. It's very linear. At first, it seems non-linear because you're going in this house, and then you might go into the next house, and I think the third house you have to backtrack a little bit, and then the fourth house you backtrack even more, and then you go to the junkyard and the cemetery and the high school. See, I beat this game and I played through it multiple times. I remember the order. See, there's the house, the other house, the house that you go back, and then the other house you go back to, and then the junkyard, and then the cemetery, and then I believe it's the high school.
Yeah.
Or no, you go to like
the high school, and then there's like
you go to like Freddy's house. I was at the high school.
No, I think there's also the what's it called, graveyard.
Yeah, the graveyard's after the junkyard.
Yeah.
The graveyard, junkyard, and then isn't that next one, is that the high school or is it Freddy's house?
It's
because it was like
school.
a boarded up looking house, right?
No, the boarded up looking house is one of the houses that you go back to.
Oh, maybe.
And then you go to the high school last.
Yeah, I know you go to the high school last, and the high school level is like the longest level.
It is the most annoying level too.
Yeah, it's a fucking like, especially that part in the level where you have to go back and there's no indications of where the fuck you're supposed to go, and then you just drop down that hole.
That was the only part of this game I had to use a guide for.
Me too.
Because I was so confused. I was like,
I went back and forth in that area for a minute, and then I had to go. I looked up a playthrough and just skipped to when they were at that spot and see.
Yeah, because the long playthrough of this game is like 30 minutes. Like a long average playthrough is supposed to take 30 minutes.
Yeah, if you know what you're doing, it's not very long to beat this game.
No, which is another reason I'm probably never going to revisit it, because
the first time it took me a little bit of time, and then I played through again. I got all the fucking achievements like first run through on this game.
Jesus.
Except for the hardcore mode achievements, because I don't put hardcore mode on my RetroArch. But yeah, the achievements were like not too hard. I guess the first time I didn't get them. There was the second time when I got the rest of them, because the ones I didn't get were like beat the claw with no hits, or beat the flying claw or the chain claw, all the different claws.
I would never
those
even
different
attempt that.
claws. So what do you think about the Elm Street level with all the snakes and the businessmen dressed up as looking zombies?
So, as I said in the last episode, I've never really watched Nightmare on Elm Street, but for some reason it felt like on par with what I would expect, kind of.
Yeah, I can see that.
Like, it just, like, not necessarily felt like it fit, because, but it felt like just on par with what I would imagine something Freddy Krueger would, like, think up or something.
Well, another part of the game is you have the two modes.
Oh yeah, there's the normal mode and the dream mode.
Yeah, you have your sleep meter, which is also your health, and when it hits 0, you don't die.
You go to dream mode.
You go to dream mode. If you die in dream mode, you die.
Yes.
If you hit 0 just normally, then you go to dream mode, where the enemies become either harder or they change into other enemies.
Yeah.
Like in the overworld, you get instead of wolves, you get like zombies? You get more zombies or something?
I think so. I don't remember. I didn't spend too much. I was actually pretty good at keeping myself out of sleep mode, so I didn't experience too much of that.
Oh, then you missed out on some stuff then. Sleep mode, the enemies become different, but there's stuff you can do in sleep mode that you can't do.
Yeah, like the power-ups and stuff.
Yeah, did you ever get any power-ups?
I got one of them, and I think it was like the ninja one.
Yeah, I ended up getting all 3 of the power-ups multiple different times. There's 3 of them. You get the ninja, then there's like a high school athlete, and then there's like a magician.
And then like a magician.
It's like, I don't know, one of these things is not like the other.
Yeah. 2 of them feel like they'd be in a D&D campaign, and the last one feels, not last one, but it feels like it would be in some anime.
Or in a movie about high school kids.
Or yeah, I generally think about animes as high school kids because that's what it seems to be a lot.
Like, I see that, but it's a very weird trio of powers. You get to be a fucking ninja who jump kicks and throws stars, or a magician who kind of has like that floaty jump that kind of helps you. Or which one did you get, the ninjas?
I got the ninja one.
You didn't even get to try the magician?
I didn't get to try it, but I know what it does because it says in the
yeah, the magician, the jump is shorter, but it's like a floatier jump, so there's some make collecting some of the bones easier. And then the athlete person just does like a higher jump, and like a spin jump, and they throw a javelin. And the javelin goes a little bit farther than the ninja stars, but the magician's like magic fireball goes not all the way across the screen, but farther than both of them. And that's mostly what I stuck to was the magician when fighting bosses.
Yeah, and I guess to some degree, like, I can understand the thought process behind, like, the powers, but why a high school athlete, like, javelin jumper?
Yeah, I mean...
Like, how does that, like...
I guess the kids dream about... That's like what they dream about. Somebody dreams about being a fucking ninja, someone dreams about magician, and someone just wants to make the track team.
Sounds like... I don't want to be friends with that kid. He sounds kind of boring.
That kid seems like he's on his way to the...
Seems like he's about to peak in high school.
He's about to peak in high school, yep. That is the guy who dreams about just throwing that javelin. All right, so you got the special powers. So let's talk about the main concept of the game, which is basically you go into the houses and you got to collect all the bones.
You can do anything.
And then once you collect the bones, then each house has like a basement that you can go into after you collect the bones.
It's either a basement or like an upstairs.
Or an upstairs, yeah. It's like some of them you go up the stairs, and that takes you to a secondary level where you have to collect all the fucking bones.
To find.
And then finally, if you collect all the bones in that secondary, you fight a boss, which...
The bosses in this game. The
bosses were kind of stupid.
Yeah. Like, not necessarily, like... I mean, they were all, like, respectively difficult in their own ways that, like, made it interesting. But the way they functioned and what they were just stupid.
And like, every boss was, like... Freddy's glove like flying around, or a fist. There was one that was just
just a fist.
Like that was like I didn't really get what they were going for. No. Like Freddy's just gonna punch you. Like I felt like just another claw would have made more fucking sense.
Made it like the other hand so you can like
and then there's the one where it's Freddy's head. Yeah, and then it's a head and a claw. And then there's Ghost Freddy.
Yeah, I don't know. That was the worst.
That one was just like Ghost Freddy. Oh, and then what is the other one? There was another one.
Gosh, what was it? The Flying Bat Head.
The Flying Bat Head. Yeah, that one was stupid too. They were all stupid.
They were all kind of stupid.
Like they all kind of function, like you said, and I see what they were. You know, the different mechanics they wanted you to play with, but. Even that was stupid.
And they were so gimmicky.
Yeah, and most of them were super cheesy to beat if you wanted to. Like, if you had, like, the chained claw and the hand claw... Not the hand claw. The one that flies around. Like, you could just sit down in a certain part, kind of like on Zelda 2, and crouch in a certain area and just shoot them with the fucking projectiles, and you would get them. That's how I got most of those achievements where you can get the claw or whatever without taking any hits. They're very easy to cheese.
Yeah.
So you get all those, and then at the end of the game, you go into the high school, throw all the bones, and you fight... Well, first there's a boss rush.
Yeah, that
one sucks.
That was my least favorite part of the game, because like it would have been cool if they put in new ideas there or something. Like I don't know.
It's a boss rush. You just go through and beat the bosses.
Yeah, but like I just went through in the like assuming I have a decent playthrough of this game, within the last 20 minutes I have defeated all of these bosses once over.
But now you have
and
to
now I have to fight them in like consecutively in a row.
Yes, without healing. That's called a boss rush.
Yeah, but it wasn't fun. Like boss rushes are fun.
I get it. Like a boss rush in Mega Man is fun. This boss rush seemed tedious.
Like, I guess I didn't really like die on it or anything, and like I didn't struggle with it, but it was just annoying, and it took forever, and I just wanted the game to be over at this point because I was so perplexed and confuzzled at everything.
You were confuzzled? What confuzzled you?
I was confused and puzzled over everything because I didn't know what was going on because I've never seen the movies, so like my confusion was like top tier.
I don't think you honestly you don't think you need to even have seen the movies for this game because it gives you the basic premise right there in the manual, and then it's just a video game.
I don't know. It didn't really feel like too much of a video game.
I think it did. I saw what they were doing there. I appreciated it a lot. That, like I said, with the Friday the 13th game, I understand why they made things a certain way, even though I might have made different choices. Like, you walk around the overworld punching fucking snakes and bats and wolves, and it's like, I don't know, man. There's no fucking bats and wolves and snakes. I could see maybe in Dream World, but when you're fully ass awake, walking down, maybe the disappearances on Elm Street aren't so mysterious when you got fucking like killer bats and fucking wolves
just everywhere,
and snakes that come up to your waistline, fucking just cruising around Elm Street. The property value there must be shit.
Oh yeah, but I mean, hey, the reason people must live there, it's pretty cheap housing.
All the fucking houses have bones scattered all over them.
Yeah, and like no one's ever home. Like,
yeah. And these houses are fucking elaborate, dude.
Yeah,
these are some big ass houses.
And they're like missing floors, and like if you fall down them, you'll die. Like I would not want to live in any of these houses.
This is Elm Street, bro. This is how we live in my hood.
Bro, I don't know what you're talking about. In my hood, we just had an axe killer running around.
But yeah, and then there is also the random. I don't know if it's random. If it isn't random, I don't know what triggers it. Every once in a while, Freddy will just like, it'll be like Freddy is coming or something, and then you fight Freddy, and that is the longest. When you don't, not at the end too, but when you fight him during the game and he just shows up all fucking Jason style, that is the longest.
I think that only happens while you're like asleep.
Probably,
because like
maybe if you if you're asleep for so long before you wake up, maybe that's what happened, triggers it.
Yeah, and then he's like,
did you fight him in the middle before?
No.
That is the longest.
I missed out on a lot because I was going I don't
know if he has the same health at the end of the game, but my god, that first time I fought him, I didn't have any special sleep warrior abilities, and I had to have punched him like 50 times before he died. And then there's these little fucking it's basically the same fight like when you fight him at the end of the game, but you have those little hands coming up, but at the end of the game, by then I had all kinds of fucking Dream Warrior powers, and I was hitting him from a distance. But when you fight him, like when he shows up and you don't have no Dream Warrior powers, like you have to punch him, which means you have to get up close to him, which means he's gonna attack you. But the one cool thing in this game that I liked and I appreciated it is anytime you attacked an enemy that didn't just die on the first hit,
it gave them invincibility.
They become like
so you they phase through you and you phase through them.
You could phase through them, and that's the only way to beat Jason.
That's called damage buffering, is what you call it in old games.
Damage buffering? Yeah,
it's like in
look at the fucking knowledge on this kid.
Yeah, it's the reason I know that is because I used to watch people speedrun Mario, like back before it was like maxed out at the speedrun it could be, like before it like got maxed out to the speed it's at now. Like I wanted to speedrun Mario at some point. Like this was a long time ago when I was way younger, and I was like, ooh. And I was like looking up like what all the strats were called, and like one of the strats is called it's damage buffering is the name of it in NES game or old games.
So when you hit them and
it's when you hit them and like you get those invincibility frames and you use it like like
Well, yeah, I'm used
majorly.
to iframes in like Dark Souls games and stuff.
Yeah, you use invincibility frames really.
But I know you don't
always.
really see that in a lot of NES games, honestly.
No, no,
Like
not
it
really.
stood out to me in this game because I was like, that's how you get through a certain, especially fighting Freddy when you have no powers. Like you have to kind of hit him right before you touch him so that you phase through him and he can't attack you. And that is some timing, bro. Let me tell you what, I play Dark Souls and I was like, holy shit, this is some intense like split second timing to hit him and not get hit.
Yeah.
That Freddy guy, not a fan. Not a fan. Not a fan of his boss fight or anything of that nature.
Yeah.
The other boss fights where you fight his claw in his head, essentially, those are not so bad because, like I said, you can cheese them. But him,
Yeah.
holy shit. So let's talk about the fucking enemies, like the weird ass enemies. So in the overworld, like I said, we got the snakes, the wolves, the bats, and the weird zombies. Are they zombies?
I don't know what they're called.
Are they businessmen? Are they?
Yeah, maybe they're just like maybe they're the owners of the houses who are mad at you for just going into their houses.
I think it's a lot like Friday the 13th, where they just had to have some enemies,
So they
let's
just put it there.
fucking put some zombies in. Is it canon? No,
But why not?
but it's Nintendo. Who cares?
It's a game.
This is an LJN joint. No one's gonna question it. And then, so you got the bats and that, and then you have those weird spikes that come up from the ground.
I don't know what those are
They're
about.
only in the overworld, and it's really
No, they're
weird.
in houses too.
Are they in houses?
Yeah.
I don't remember seeing any in the houses.
I remember because I remember specifically because of one instance that I like stood out to me, and there was a bone right like above one, so you had to jump onto the platform, jump up against the bone, and move out of the way so that the spike wouldn't hit you.
Maybe that sounds slightly familiar. Okay, so then that's it for the overworld, right?
Pretty much, yeah, I think so.
Yeah, that's it. And then you go in the houses and you got like little spiders.
Yeah, there's spiders.
So when you're asleep, you got little spiders, and then you got the bats, of course.
Yeah.
And then you got spiders that jump. But the cool thing is, once you fall asleep, those same enemies are just like the same enemies.
But
only,
they have like a face on
They
them.
have like in Freddy's head. So you got these like Freddy Krueger fucking spiders running around, and then you got the big Freddy Krueger spiders that jump, and then you got like Freddy Krueger headed skeleton bats. I think that's what they're going
Yeah,
for.
every time you fall asleep, everything just turns to Freddy.
It's like Freddy's everywhere, but then you also get more powerful.
Yeah, like what?
I mean, it's
I mean, it's supposed to be like video game, but like
it fits the whole Freddy thing. Like the Dream Warriors aren't Dream Warriors until they're asleep. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that comes from like the third Nightmare on Elm Street movie where there's like the Dream Warriors, and there's like some kids who learn to control their dreams, so they become powerful. And
lucid dreaming. All
and they
right.
fight Freddy. No, they're not really lucid dreaming. They're dream warriors. They can take control of the dreams. When Freddy takes control, they
That's
can
what
still
lucid dreaming
control.
is.
It's not the same. It's not what you're thinking.
Lucid dreaming to me is when you can like you're in a dream, you know it, and you can control it. That's
Okay, this is Dream Warriors, bro. This isn't some made up term like lucid dreaming.
lucid dream. I lucid dream. All
This
the
is
time,
this
bro.
is not some made up psychological term that someone told you about on TikTok. This is real shit. We're talking about Dream Warriors, real shit.
Really more.
When you go into
More
a
real
dream
than
and
lucid
you
dreaming.
are a wheelchair guy, the wheelchair guy could walk in his dream. That's what you call Dream Warrior.
I don't know. I mean, if I was disabled, if I was having a good dream, that good dream would generally consist of me not being disabled.
Bold of you to assume that's all they dream about.
No, but I'm
Those
saying it
people.
would be a part of it because that would be like you can't live it. You can't become not disabled, sadly. So, like dreaming about it's the best you're gonna get.
Well, what if I just want to be a ninja
Then be a ninja.
or a high school athlete that throws a javelin?
Then you peaked in high school.
Then I peaked in high school. I peaked in high school when I fought Freddy. Yeah, sounds about right.
I guess so.
So yeah, it's hard to talk about this game for so much because there's really a whole lot. It's like, okay, you go through, you collect the bones, you fucking fight the little monster, you go.
I will say though, like you can kind of like especially now that like I'm 100% sure that it's rare, I can kind of feel those aspects that like they like are known for. I can feel them, like thinking about like Donkey Kong Country and stuff.
I don't know. I don't think the platforming was what I wanted it to be in this game.
No, but I mean,
it was not pixel perfect. Like anytime I judge any game that has any kind of platforming,
you judge it on the pixel perfect.
We judge it on the Mario scale.
Yeah, so.
And so there was a lot of jumps where I'm like, oh, I'm gonna make that jump, and I wouldn't make that jump. Or there's a lot of times when I'm like, oh, I'm not gonna make this jump, and fucking somehow I made the jump.
Yeah. And I actually, now that you say that, I think I can kind of tell, because in Mario, like where there's a pixel, if it's an object, you touch it the instant you touch that pixel.
Yeah.
Like it is the definition of pixel perfect.
And the controls seemed really just not on point either.
No,
I did not like
trying
the
to go into places was like a whole struggle.
Yeah.
Like
and the jumping, it was like the jumping, you could control it in midair, but it was just awkward. And the fucking, there's like a wind up on your attack.
Yeah, you're like, it takes you like, you press punch and then you have to wait like 3 seconds.
Yeah, like because you could see like the frames of him like pulling his arm back and then punching.
Yeah.
So it's a lot.
Like I'm watching Punch Out from afar.
Well, it's very Castlevania, because that's how Castlevania goes. When you swing your whip in Castlevania, there's frames of him swinging it back before he swings it forward.
But I mean, and I get that with the like a weapon. I get the idea of it with a weapon, but then I get the idea of it someone who's just punching with their fist. I've never.
He's punching very comically. He's punching like where he like pulls his arm back and then swings it forward like a fucking.
I don't know. I've watched a lot of people
Looney Tunes
like fight and stuff. I've never seen anyone like, in a genuine sense, wind up a punch like that. You just throw a punch.
Well, that's a jab, what you're thinking of, So
yeah, you just throw
coming from behind. That's like a haymaker. That's like coming from. He throws that haymaker on everything. Snakes, fucking bats.
Yeah,
everything is
he can throw it back
goddamn.
to back. Like he does not get tired.
No, he can't do it back to back though, because even if you rapid fire, it's like still a fucking good chunk of time before you can punch.
Yeah,
like you have to. A lot of times the timing on your punch has to be fucking perfect.
Yeah.
Like, and you have to not punch when you want to hit him. Punch like a second before you want to hit him.
You have to punch before you realize you need to punch.
And a lot of times it's that timing. It's just like, because you have to, if an enemy's coming at you, you have to like judge the speed and then like in your head do calculations of how fast it's going to take you to punch, and then you better crunch those fucking numbers.
Yeah. Like, and like, I mean, I guess there's a lot of games like that.
Yeah, like Castlevania,
older.
like the wind up. I'm not a big fan of the wind up punch.
Even in like, there's no games where the wind up punch is necessary. Like, unless your character's using a weapon. I understand it in
Castlevania, but maybe because I'm just used to it in Castlevania. And I get it,
and like, once again, as you said, like, they probably have like a sword in Castlevania. I get that. With weapons, it makes sense to make it take longer.
And also in Castlevania, you have a whip which is longer, so it doesn't have to be, the timing doesn't have to be that perfect, because you have more of a range, whereas this, your range ain't shit.
Your range is literally an arm's length.
Yeah, and you can't kick.
You can't. I noticed. You have to, when you get down, he winds up and throws that even while he's crouching.
Yeah.
Like, you can crouch while you're jumping, and like,
that's weird to me.
Like, I mean, like, and there's some games that do it, and I'm like, I don't get that. Like, you're jumping, how are you gonna crouch mid-jump?
And there's nothing crouching even really does, because very rarely can you even dodge an enemy by crouching.
No, I don't. I think I can recall one instance where I ducked under an enemy.
Like the bats on the overworld, that when they're at a certain length, a certain height, you can crouch under them. But I feel like the ones that you can crouch under them are the ones that are also high enough up that you don't even have to crouch. Because the ones that look like you would be able to crouch under them, you still can't crouch under them.
No, the ones that look like you can crouch under them, generally, I feel like you can crouch under those. But also, you could just throw a punch and kill him, because it's not that hard.
I don't know. Like I said, when I'm in the overworld, I wasn't doing a fight. It was more like an obstacle course. And that's... Oh yeah, and then the big rats. That's what the
big rats.
The big rats in the house is that those turn into what do those turn into?
I don't remember. I don't think
something
I ever
that involves
around those.
Something that involves a Freddy Krueger head, I'm assuming.
Probably. That would check out.
Freddy Krueger rat or something.
I wouldn't be surprised.
So,
he looks like a rat already.
So that's what you thought about the controls, pretty jank.
Very jank.
I 100% agree with you on the jankiness of those fucking controls.
I almost want to say they're gimmicky, but they aren't even anything.
They weren't
special.
gimmicky.
Like there's nothing special about them.
There was
but they feel
an
like
attack
they should be
button
gimmicky.
and a jump button. Select changes your ability while you're asleep. You know, you can pause it. That's it.
Like the way the game controls, you would feel like these controls are gimmicky, but they aren't. They're just your average controls. Like that's the annoying.
They're very loose controls. They weren't as precise as you want them to be. Like you jumped, it felt like it was like almost like a delay between jumping.
I say gimmicky. I think I mean finicky.
Finicky. There you go. Finicky sounds a lot better than gimmicky in this instance.
Yeah. Like I don't get it. I mean, I guess I can see the idea behind what they were going for, but the game...
I like what they were going for. Like, I feel like given a little bit more time to flesh out some of their ideas, I feel like it could have been a better game. Because I played it after I beat it. You know, that's saying something. Is like, once I beat it, and I understood really... Because it took me up until basically the end of the game before I really had a grasp on the entire concept of the game. It isn't what... It's a more fast-paced game than it lets off to be at the beginning. At the beginning, you go through and you're punching this and that, but I found it so much more enjoyable once I knew what was going on, to avoid fights. Treat it more like a Mario game and less like Ninja Gaiden. More of dodging enemies and jumping over enemies and moving forward and not really stopping too much unless I had to collect a bone a certain way. But it was more like a speedrunner would play it, like going fast, avoiding attacks. And when I played it that way, it was a much more enjoyable experience.
That checks out.
Just a game of dodging. You know, and then you get used to those controls, and when you're relying less on the punch and more on the jumping and running, and they don't really run. It's not like you can hold down the A button and run like you can in Mario. And I said you can't.
Oh, I thought you said you could.
You move at the same speed regardless.
Yeah.
But yeah, it becomes a much more enjoyable experience if you're focusing on just the maneuverability and less on the combat.
I guess I never tried. Did you think is bunny hopping at all like a good thing in this game? Like, does it make you move any faster if you bunny hop?
No.
Okay. I know there's quite a few, like, even older games, like, where your speed is slightly increased during a jump, so bunny hopping is, like, a decent maneuver.
Sometimes, but then there's also a lot of time there's a jump delay on a lot of games, where that little couple frames of slowdown defeats the purpose of the jumping.
Yeah.
So what do you think about the music on this one there, Sako?
Not too bad. Generally, when I play these games, I have my music playing in the background, but I usually give it like one of the sessions that I'm sitting down and playing it to listen to the music.
I thought the music was annoying.
Like, it was annoying, but like I've heard worse in games.
I've heard worse. There were weird thing was there was certain parts on some of the songs where it sounded a lot like the Friday the 13th music.
It did. I noticed that
at one point where I was like, is Jason about to show up?
like hold up, wait.
I was like, no, that's a different game. What are we doing?
Like, please tell me he didn't make his way over here.
Like, LJN, you sly bastard. You slipped in a Friday the 13th jingle. But no, there was, I don't really think I liked the music at all. Like, not even a little bit. Like, the music in Friday the 13th was annoying, but at the same time, I didn't hate it.
Yeah, I could, like, I mean, it wouldn't be like a soundtrack I'd ever just want to sit and listen to, but like, I can live with it in the background. This one was just annoying.
This one, I played it probably like half of my first playthrough with the music on, and then after that with no music on at all from this game.
Yeah. Generally, like, unless it's like a game with some banging music, I will probably listen to music like once, and then I'll play listening to my music instead. Cause, yeah,
the music was not hitting for me. Was not hitting at all.
It was not bopping.
So about how long did it take you to beat this game?
I think in all it said like I put in like 1 hour and 58 minutes. So, you know, like I almost quadrupled the amount of time it should take someone to play this game.
But I'm sure you just played it on one run with speed, with rewind and all that.
No, I didn't use rewind actually.
Oh, you didn't?
Not really. Like there was a few times when I died in that underground in that house. I used rewind because I was so confused.
Did you save state it?
No, I just rewind.
So you.
I never was able to get more than 6 lives at a time. Generally, I was down at like 5 or 4, but I was able to like get them back up before like I got too low on lives.
Okay.
I wanted to use rewind, but I was like, no, this game will be fine. Like I see how many lives I have at all times. Like, and I'm doing pretty good with the sleep thing, so I think I'll be able to manage this without rewind. So
when you beat this game, with just the one superpower, and that was the ninja.
Yeah.
Is that what you used to fight Jason or Freddy?
Yeah.
How'd you find that fight with the ninja? I beat him with the magician, which has a pretty good range, so it's a lot. I think felt like that made it easier.
I don't know. I mean, really, it didn't feel too much different from like the other bosses. It just felt like a new boss that I had to jump around and maneuver and hit.
With the projectiles, any of the projectiles,
way better than
makes that boss fight very anticlimactic. I found I actually had more difficulty fighting a couple of the other bosses than I did actual Freddy Krueger.
Yeah, honestly, same. Like even with the power up, fighting the other bosses still just felt like, and it felt more like vibrant too. Like it felt like there was more there than with the fight with Freddy. Like
yeah, because the fight with Freddy, you're just avoiding him and avoiding those hands.
Yeah,
and a lot of the other bosses have way more maneuverability.
Yeah, and I mean, we gave a lot of crap to the bosses, but I will say they all did something like different.
Yeah, they were all. I mean, they built off each other, and I could see. I like the progression of the bosses in this game.
Yeah,
the way there was no crazy like, this boss is easy and the next one is super hard. It was the progression of the difficulty of the bosses. Because you got the chained hand, and then you got the flying hand, and then you got the fist, and then you got the fist in the head, and then you got the ghost, right?
I'm pretty sure the bat came before the ghost.
The bat and then the ghost?
Because the ghost is in the graveyard, which comes after the junkyard.
Okay. And then I think the bat, because the bat, I think, flew around faster than any of the other ones. Right?
Yeah, he was pretty fast, and he also spit like other mini bats out of
Oh, yeah, that's right. So I think that.
And then the ghost did the same thing except for faster.
That's right. Those two are very derivative.
Those were very similar. They weren't too vibrant.
And I think that ghost one was harder than Freddy.
The ghost one, I would say the bat and the ghost one, like really, they were both harder than Freddy. The bat one was definitely easier than the ghost one. The ghost one was just a lot faster, like harder to like move out of the way. You'd hit him like as he was coming at you, but then he'd spawn a ghost out of his mouth, so it would hit you like even though you were like.
But that boss looked so stupid.
It did.
Like it was like barely even Freddy head.
You can see what they were going for, but it didn't work. It was very much
just like you can tell there's a ghost under a Freddy head under that ghost, theoretically.
But like, if you just went into this game not knowing what it was called or something, which wouldn't be too possible because it says Nightmare on Elm Street at the top. Like, if someone were to just see that fight, they would not all be able to like put together.
Yeah.
That's supposed to be
out of context. You wouldn't know who that boss was.
Like I feel like with most of them, you can kind of like see it.
Like you can be like, okay, that's a big glove or hand with knives. I got an idea what that is.
Yeah.
The fist though too. The fist seemed like that could have been out of any generic video game.
Yeah. But like it's the texture on it that kind of like it has that.
I guess. But yeah, no, you put the fist with the Freddy head. Obviously, you know what that is.
know.
But that's what I can say about a lot of the enemies in this game. Is a lot of them seemed kind of out of place, and you could find them in any random video game, like the snakes. Very generic.
Yeah, snakes are in so many games.
I mean, how many fucking Nintendo games have bats in them?
I mean, I'm pretty sure every game we've covered has bats in them, actually.
I think, yeah, every game up till now has had bats.
They're so generic that they've been in everything.
And I think the only game, only one of them other ones had snakes.
And that was
Zelda 1 had
Zelda
snakes.
1.
I don't think Zelda 2 had any snakes. Did it? It had those like caterpillar things that come out of the ground.
Yeah, but those were definitely not. They almost looked like, those big stacks of like spiky balls from Mario. They looked almost like those, but not spiky.
Yeah, yeah. I think you're talking about Cactus.
Well, their name isn't Cactus. They like have like a name, but yeah, they like look like Cactus.
You look like Cactus.
No, I don't.
He looks like Cactus, ladies and gentlemen.
He's wrong, ladies and gentlemen.
Anyhow, so anything else you really have to say about this game? I mean, cutting it kind of short. There's not a whole lot to talk about. I feel like, I think I said it before, is if they would have put a little bit more time into this game and fleshed it out better,
yeah,
maybe worked on the controls better, they probably would have not put more work into the music, because that's just, you know, how it was at that time. The music was, it was sufficient, is what I'll say for the music. It did what it needed to do.
I mean, it'd be like kind of chill if you're like playing in the middle of the night, like you're like 8 years old playing in the middle of the night and have your TV turned down to like volume 2 or something.
I don't know. I don't even want to say that. I don't even want to say it's sufficient, the music, because it's
definitely music for a game. It's definitely background music.
There were plenty of times in playing the game where the music would do a weird, like, it would like stop and start over in the middle of it was like the music would be going and then it like stopped and it would start playing another one, but like not at the beginning, almost in the middle.
Yeah,
and it was
tell
like the track like skipped or something.
It
like,
sounds like when when you put a CD in and it has scratches all over it and it just like goes from like the beginning of the song like halfway through in like a millisecond and you're like, what did I just hear?
Yeah, that was weird to me. Like it sticks out of my mind now that I'm thinking about the music. Is I remember that first couple times it happened, I almost thought it was like an indicator that something was about to happen.
So you'd like get ready,
but then nothing happened. It's like, oh, it's a Freddy fake out.
Yeah, maybe that's what they're going for.
Yeah, building up fake fucking tension.
I mean, I guess I could kind of see that because like horror games didn't have much going for them, especially back then. It's hard to like make something scary.
Yeah, but that's
like
cheap. That's a cheap way to do that.
It's a cheap way to do it, but I guess I can see like the value behind it, creating this fake tension, and then nothing happens. Like, oh, you're about to get attacked? No, you aren't.
No, it's just regular ass time. I did like the effects when you fall asleep. The like way it made that wavy.
Everything got all wavy.
That was actually kind of cool. Like the way it came off, but it was actually animated very well.
And when I was paying attention to it, actually, something I feel like a lot of games might have missed the mark on that this game did all right with. A lot of games, I feel like doing something like that, it would lose like a lot. Like your character would lose momentum, and they would like it would like, you know, put you in like a new slate. Whereas this game, it froze for a second, did the effect, and then whatever was happening continued happening.
Exactly how it was about to happen.
Like it didn't really change anything except for how things looked and maybe the difficulty a little bit.
Yeah,
like I liked that.
The layout was the exact same, and it was like it changed like the theme.
Yeah, like I feel like a lot of games, especially from this time, that would have used that mechanic. Like your character would maybe just freeze and then like you'd get hit by whatever monster was right by you if you were attacking it, because you know, like transitions weren't really like super easy to master. Like even still now transitions are like hard to get.
Yeah, I guess they got the transition down. Like if you were about to hit an enemy, you hit them.
Yeah.
You know, if you were about to get hit by an enemy, you're gonna get hit.
Yeah.
Like it basically it didn't interrupt nothing. If you were in the middle of a punch, you would finish throwing that punch.
Which is really so. I don't know what they did to make that work, but I'm glad it did, because I think this game needs everything it can have going for it.
So are you telling me you didn't love this game?
I did not love this game. It's not replayable, but I definitely didn't hate it either. I liked it more than Zelda 2.
You liked this game more than Zelda 2?
Yeah, but mainly just because I was actually able to beat this one. Like, it wasn't so hard that I
might have to force you to go back to Zelda 2 and actually beat it, and then we'll do part 2. This is our Legend of Zelda part 2.
I'll beat it eventually, and I'll definitely like say my opinions on it once I beat it, like in the beginning of an episode or something during that little segment. But I mean, I feel like my opinions of it won't change too much just because I beat the game. Like, I mean, like I know like the whole like final boss and everything. Ooh, cool! It's like Shadow Link. But
whoa! I don't like the face you just made when you said that.
Ooh, cool. Ooh, cool. It's Shadow Link.
It's fucking Shadow Link, dude. It's like the shadowest Link there ever was.
See the difference in our tone of voice? You care about it way more because it's like a super, like it was like a big thing for you, whereas I see things like that in games a lot. Like you look at, like, I played Tekken, like growing up, like was my main fighter game, and Tekken 6, part of like the story campaign, you play as Jin and you fight Devil Jin. So like,
okay, but that's not Shadow Jin.
No, but it's the same concept theoretically. It's just it's the character altered to play against.
No, dude. That is your analogy is way off base, because I too have played a lot of Tekken, and Jin and Devil Jin are not just palette swaps. They have completely different
they're completely
movesets.
different characters.
And that's the difference. Shadow Link has the same moveset. It's the same character. You're just fighting him.
Well, yeah, and like, I mean, I can easily see that, but it's just my personal opinion. I guess I've seen things like that, and I guess I can't really call out a super specific instance, because like I don't really play super many games that have that.
Super many games.
Yeah, it's like super many
games.
Super Nintendo. I was doing a pun.
I don't think you were. I just think you pulled that out of your ass as I made fun of your.
No, I wasn't.
words.
But it came to my mind before you said that. So I was like, if he says anything, I just know what's this. I have the remark.
Sure.
But I don't play like a lot of games that have that in there. So like. But I know it exists, and to me, it's not particularly new, and it's not particularly special, especially because there are games now where I'm pretty sure even in like a Souls-like game, I don't know the name of it, but it's a Souls-like, or maybe it's even a Souls game, but you literally fight like a character, like you're fighting essentially a character who plays almost exactly like you, and like, see, that's like. You look at Shadow Link, who is the same moveset, but he just plays like a normal boss, or this character who literally like fights the same way you fight. To me, Shadow Link is just different.
I don't know. You lost me there halfway through what you were saying. I was following you for a little bit.
I kind of tell you were like spacing off your face, like.
That's because all the things you started to not make sense when you started talking about like super many.
Super many.
I got super many confused.
You're never gonna let go of super many.
So,
is this an 8-bit game?
This is an 8-bit game. This is a Nintendo game.
All right.
So, you got anything else to say about this game?
Nope. Time for the rating, I guess.
I got a couple more things to say about this game.
Oh, what do you got to say?
I wish we were throwing rocks in the overworld.
Then it would have just been Friday the 13th.
I think the whole time I was playing this game, I wished it was Friday the 13th.
I think I felt kind of the same way, honestly.
I was like, there was so much more to that game than this game.
Yeah, and like it felt more special.
It did. It felt like people that played Friday, and a lot of people talk shit about the Friday the 13th game, and a lot of people love it. I'm one of the people that love it.
I love it.
And it feels like people that made it kind of had that same feeling. Like they were putting, even though a lot of stuff people give it crap for, that it doesn't make sense. Zombies, it doesn't make sense. You got.
I mean, if you think about it, zombies aren't necessarily new to the Friday the 13th world. Jason himself is a zombie. Like.
Good point.
So it's not a foreign idea.
So I mean. And like I said, any of the enemies in this game, honestly, any of them, you can make them make sense with just the fact that this is the dream world.
Yeah.
Except for when you're
awake.
You're awake and you're walking down fighting huge rats and stuff. And then it's like, okay, so they're not mythological things and that's what's weird. When you're awake, you're wide ass awake in the overworld and you're fighting the bats. Okay, I get it. They're not mythological. They're just bats, whatever. And you're fighting snakes. What the fuck are there zombies for?
Like maybe they're not zombies and we're just misreading it, but
I'm pretty sure those were zombies. Hold on a second. I got the fucking manual right here. That's not the manual.
Wrong paper.
Here's the manual. I got the copy.
It's on the way back. It's the last page that says it.
Let me see. Buildings and such is actually a title of one of the pages.
Yeah, I remember that.
Okay, we got Shadow Warrior. We got. Oh, okay, the magic person isn't a mage or a wizard. It's a fucking necromancer.
Yeah, I remember that. It literally sounds like something you'd find in a D&D campaign.
And an acrobat, a necromancer. Okay, we got a night prowler, a hound, skelos. The skeleton's called a skelos.
Like scoliosis.
And then you got a deathwing. And then those things are called shamblers.
Which things?
What we're talking about, those zombie things. And then
they're called shamblers.
It's called shamblers. And that picture looks like a fucking cross between a zombie and a Frankenstein.
I remember that too. I was like, is this Frankenstein?
And then you got those little demons are called boggles.
Yeah, like what? This whole game.
A boggle.
This whole game just doesn't make sense. It's mind-boggling.
A fucking boggle. Maybe it's a boogle.
Maybe, I guess, but I don't know if that helps it.
Yeah, I don't think it's boogle either. I think they're reaching with that name. All right. I don't have much more to say about this fucking shitty game.
Yeah,
this shitty game that I'm gonna probably go and play some more of.
Let's do our ratings. Let's do our ratings.
All right. So out of an 8-bit game, what are you giving this?
I am giving this a dead 2.
You're giving it a 2.
Lowest.
A dead 2.
I think that's the lowest I will probably really ever give a game.
Oh, I don't think. If I were you, I wouldn't give it a 2 because there are plenty more games we're gonna play that I think would deserve that much more than this game. But if you want to give it a 2, that's your rating.
I don't know. Wait. Okay. So the mechanics were bad. Like, I could see what they're going for, but they didn't end up working. The music, also pretty bad.
The mechanics weren't horrible.
The mechanics were horrible.
They were a little janky, but they weren't horrible.
Yeah, but also I was using an Xbox 360 controller. So, if I'm using the D-pad, I press up and I slightly start, like, and my finger moves at all, I start moving, like, to the right a little bit. So I have a little bit of, like, anger.
That seems like that's more or less your janky fucking
issue.
controller.
Yeah, it's a skill issue.
I was playing it. Let's see. I played some of it on. I actually played some of it on my laptop with my Xbox One controller, and I think it controlled well. And then I also played some on my Switch as well. LJN sent me a Switch code for the Switch. But anyway, when I was playing it on the Switch and I used the D-pad and the analog stick both, I didn't see it. The movement itself I didn't have any problems with. It was the wind-up delay for the punch and the slight delay for the jump. Like, I don't think that's a bad mechanic. I think they programmed it that way. It just...
Well, yeah. It just doesn't hold up, but, like, it had a reason, I guess, when they made it, probably.
And once you learn the timing of it,
once you know how to use it, it's not so bad. But it's still annoying, and it's still janky.
Okay, I'm not gonna...
I'm gonna up it to a 3.5.
A 3? No, we're not gonna use decimals, bro. Come on, let's just use regular ass
Come
numbers.
on, you literally gave a game a 0.5 rating at some point. I remember.
What game did I give a 0.5?
Pretty sure it was Legend of Zelda 1, because it was the Legend of Zelda 2 tax.
That's a whole point.
Okay, buddy.
I see. I gave Zelda 1 a 9, gave Zelda 2 a 10, gave Friday the 13th. What did I give Friday the 13th? Did I give it a 9?
Well, there's no way you gave Zelda 2 a 10 because Zelda 2 is when we started using the bit scale.
Well, yeah. So it wouldn't have been a 10 anyway. It would have been 8.
Yeah, and then
and I'm pretty sure
Zelda
I gave
1,
it an 8.
In Zelda 1, we went by Triforce pieces, and I think there was
8.
Yeah, there was 8. So
that kind of worked out.
It just kind of did what it needed to for us.
So the only one so far that's on a weird scale is Zelda 2, right?
No, they were all on 8.
Okay, then they were all on 8.
But the only thing is, we just had a different name for them. In the beginning, it was Triforce pieces.
But anyhow,
we were gonna do them based on
anyways, man, I'm just telling you, I'm giving this. I didn't give. What did I already give this thing a score?
No, I'm giving it a 3.
You're giving it a 3.
Yeah, because you said I can't do decimals.
I can live with a 3. I guess if you want to give it a 3.5, you can. It's your rating.
3.5.
3.5. We're just gonna round it up to a 4.
3.49. Then you can't round up.
Anything above a 1, we round up.
You never. I don't know when you learned that, but I don't know when you learned that, but no, if it's below 0.5, then you round down.
Not in this. Not in Dreamland. Not on Elm Street, bro. Not on Elm Street. I don't know. I'm not trying to give you a better score than you want to give it. Give it a 3.5. I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm giving it a fucking 4. So not like I'm doing much different. I'm just giving a solid flat 4, and that's because I did enjoy playing the game as it was, and it's not like, and I will play it again, but not because I'm like, I wanna go play this Friday the 13th or the Jason game. Fuck, I can't even get it straight. We're gonna go play this Nightmare on Elm Street game, and
I want to point that out. I like how you went, I'm gonna play this Friday the 13th. No, this Jason game.
Yeah, it's my brain just doesn't. It just wants this to be Friday the 13th so bad.
I don't blame you. I wanted it to be too. I was like, why can't I go back to Jason? That was
maybe I will just go back and play Friday the 13th instead of playing this game. I don't think I will play this game again. I think I may play it sometime in the future,
like
just to be like, oh, I wonder what that game's like. I don't remember. I'm like, oh, yeah.
You'll be so disappointed that you went back to it.
And I'm like, why didn't I just go back and play Friday the 13th? Old ass. Can't even get shit straight. So, all right. So I guess that's that. We gave it the old Elm Street try.
Yep.
So, everybody, you got any plugs, Sago?
Yep, I got my plugs as usual.
Hair plugs.
So this time I'm actually going to be plugging for the first time I'm going to plug my music. Go over to Teenage Prodigy on all platforms. But if you go over to YouTube, I have 2 YouTube exclusives out. Recently, a rapper that I like died. He rapped in Spanish, so I've been making remixes of his music from Spanish to English, so his music could reach a wider audience. So you can go check that out.
All right, guys, and I have nothing to plug but my own show, which is this Retro Quest. Thank you guys. I want you guys to know we are on Apple Podcasts, we're on Spotify, we're on Google, we're on Amazon Music. You can find us basically anywhere. Just type in Retro Quest. You can find us on YouTube at Retro Quest Podcast. Be sure to like and share and follow and do all the things that will make us grow.
Yes, please. We need it.
Like, share, follow, listen. You can go on Facebook, RetroQuest. Yeah, check them all out.
Send the link out to your mom, your dad. Send the link out to your little brother, your older brother.
If everybody who actually listens to this sent it out to 2 people, we would have at least 4 or 5 listeners.
Exactly. We'd have at least 4 or 5.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think that's about it.
Sako.
I feel like you were really trying to draw this out as much as you could.
Something popped in my head about the thing you said, but then it left, and I was trying to say something witty, and then I didn't say nothing witty. So I'm just gonna say goodbye.
Bye.